wants to kill his grandpa. That dude's pelvis. He would have sucked that like it was the whole anti-anxiety medication, and they were drinking Red Bull. I ran and looked at it. One guy went, "I'll fucking press it." And he hit that thing, and the whole sky went. Maybe I was high as. Figured that out? Did you know they hadn't figured out shoes? Oh shit! Look what the. The fuck I'm doing? Shit going on.
We all know that feeling. It's the one that you get when a show starts to lose its luster. Chapter 8 doesn't feel as exciting or engaging as Chapter 4 did. Or what about when you're in a relationship and you cite the number of years that you've been with someone as an explanation for why you're with them today? We've all been there. We've all experienced that feeling of something losing its excitement, something that we feel deep in our souls is not right for us anymore, but we're just not leaving it. All of these examples, including my dramatic depiction of what I assume it looks like when a lot of you watch Netflix, are related. See, entertainment, career paths, relationships, these things might on the surface not seem like they're related, but they likely are, because if you're making the choice to stick with a show or a book that you feel like is no longer exciting to you and no longer feels right or worth the time, then it's very likely that you're applying that same decision making to a lot more mission critical aspects of your life. I'm going to explain why, but before I do that, you should know what it's called. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. Let's go back to our example so we can try to figure out what's happening here. You read 200 pages of a 300-page book and you say something like, "Oh, but the ending is so close." Or, "What about going out to dinner, spending $20 on a steak?" And you eat until you're full, which is about 50% of the way there, but you feel like you need to stuff yourself because you want to get your money's worth. Or, my personal favorite, when you're in a relationship and you cite the number of years that you've been with somebody, or you say something like, "I was happy once," or "they're nice." If you're saying the person's nice, then they're probably not right for you because you should probably have something better to say, but I digress. All these examples that we've cited, reading the book and refusing to put it down until you've hit the ending, the steak dinner, the relationship, they all involve either time, money, or commitment. The connection between all three of those is that you're utilizing something that happened in the past as a justification for why you're doing it today, when the thing that happened in the past is no longer relevant to today. See, in these examples, time, money, and commitment are sunk costs. They're things that you've incurred once that are no longer relevant once you've incurred them. The time that you put into reading a book is not time that you're gonna get back. It's the same thing with a relationship. The amount of years or months that you've spent with someone says absolutely nothing about the future. But we take what has happened in the past and we put it into the future. We give it a weight, a significance that it doesn't have. Applying sunk costs to your decisions is scary. It's scary because something that seems so subtle can have such a profound impact on your life. But what's scariest of all is the fact that most of us don't even realize that this is happening when it is. You see, it is so easy to just keep watching that show on Netflix or keep reading that book or keep staying in that relationship because you just don't want to question things, because our minds don't like making difficult choices. Our minds like to stay on the patterns that they've already created, but easy paths don't lead to meaningful lives. The things that are best in this world are oftentimes going to be the most challenging. So don't use something that's happened in the past as a justification for the way that you're living your life today. It's likely not going to be right if the first thing that you think is, well, this was right for me once, so I assume that it's going to be right for me now. It's scary to think about how much happiness you're foregoing by letting the past dictate your future, by saying something like, I don't want to leave something too early. Because in the case of life, where the only finite thing is time, you're never gonna feel like you're leaving something too early. Statistically speaking, you're only gonna feel like something is ever too late. It's never truly too late. There's always gonna be another moment that you have to change the course you're on, change the way that you view the world, change your behavior. But while it's never too late, it's also true that there's never a better time than now. Because now gives you the most runway from this moment up until this vague thing that we call the future. It gives you the most time to take a step back, become aware of the way that you live your life, organize all those thoughts and all those actions, and formulate a plan for attack. Formulate a pattern that you can iterate over and over again to change the habits that you've oftentimes just built up because you're living idly. Now, we all need practice. No one is born perfect. No one is born knowing exactly how to live an optimal life, exactly how to be happy. We're not built like that. We learn by failing. We learn by failing and failing better. We learn by trying. That's really hard. But let me tell you something. The only things that are worth having in this life are the hard things. The best things exist in direct proportion to the amount of challenge that you needed to get over and to overcome in order to achieve them. Anything that's worth having in life won't come easily because it takes practice. You need to show the world that you're worthy of the outcomes that you desire. You need to show yourself that you believe in yourself, that you're worth the time to put in that practice to be better. So focus on the now. Let go of the rear view. Stop letting the past dictate the way that you're living your life today. Move forward with intention. Choose the principles and the choices and the people and the places that make you feel good today. You need to constantly be asking yourself, what makes me happy today? What makes me feel good today? Because what you did yesterday, just because it was yesterday, does not mean that it's going to be good for you today. It doesn't mean that it's going to serve you today. Start looking at who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow, and look for that one thing that you can incrementally grow. But don't look in the rear view, because the things that you're chasing are not behind you, they're in front of you, and you need to understand that if you're going to get wherever it is that you decide that you want to go. So the next time you're watching Netflix and you pick up your phone because you're bored, stop. Shut it off. Don't finish it just because you've got 10 minutes left. Utilize that boredom. Utilize that realization that you're just not invested anymore and move on. Move on when things don't feel right anymore. You're not failing because you've changed. Change is a sign that you're growing. If you don't feel the same as you did a week ago, thinking about the same person or same place, that's not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of strength. It's a sign that you're willing to be aware and ask yourself those deep questions over and over again, because you're growing. You're a human being. You're not going to be the same person that you were yesterday. Go where it feels right. Honor yourself. To anyone who's dealing with a bigger problem than Netflix, to anyone who's dealing with a life decision like school, relationships, career, I wish you well, and I hope that you can learn how to act in the now. I hope that you can find the power to slow yourself down, to listen to what your heart is telling you is right in this moment, and I hope you can learn how to honor that. You're not going to be perfect right off the bat. Life, like anything else within life, takes practice to be good at. But you deserve to live a life that's worth living. I wish you well on your journey to practicing it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week.